Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Appreciate you being here. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and I do a lot of political predictions. I also have a series called Wisdom on Wednesdays, which will help you basically deal with the political predictions that I do, because we are in a shite show, are we not? And we're in the middle of this thing where people, not just people, let me correct that, where establishment Democrats are saying that Biden should pass the torch. There's actually even a political action committee that's been formed called Pass the Torch. Now, I've talked about this off and on for a week. I've given you what I thought was going to happen or what is happening. Energy is fluid. When I go into Biden's energy, he wants to at least go through another 2 years. He wants to get through the election. He really wants to, his game plan, I'm getting right now that he would want to step down 18 months before the midterms is what he's saying. I don't understand that. But anyway, that's his plan, right? So yeah, a lot of us read Biden all the way. As a matter of fact, I am for Biden all the way. I'm 1,000% in Biden Harris camp. So I, of course, probably just like you, I was flat out when I started seeing people like Schiff, Sherrod Brown, Zoe Lofgren, all these people saying that Biden should step down. I mean, I literally had a meltdown. I really was very upset about that. And it feels so ridiculous because we're in the fight for our lives. Literally, some of us really our lives. And for sure, we're in the fight for our democracy. So why would the Democrats, who've been so good, so admirable, why would they now turn coat on our leader who has been an amazing president? One bad day, one bad debate, and you guys are all of a sudden gonna jump out and say he's got to go? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, I'm sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to just jump to the big picture and then I'll work my way back. The big picture is this, is that the money owns the media. The money owns the donors who, donate to the politicians. And the big picture is this. The big money want a Vance ticket, not a 45 ticket. That was a coup. I read that it was a coup before. I didn't understand it. It's like a bloodless coup. 45 is there in name only. They're gonna basically do, the guides are telling me right now that 45's dad, when he had dementia, was given fake papers to sign. This has been reported on as true, to just keep him busy, make him feel like he's doing something. That's what they're doing to 45. He is not going to be the president. He's a figurehead, but he's just there to get those MAGAs. He's just there to do the little song and dance, the accordion hands. He's just there to do that, to get the money. And he was told that. And that's why he looked so sad at the convention, because he was told, you are not the all-powerful person you think you are. We own you. And you've got a couple of choices here. You can fall out a window, or you can do what we tell you to do. It's pretty simple. Let us know your decision by 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's what he was told. They want Vance because Vance is young and Vance is crazy, and he'll do everything that Project 2025 wants him to do. He's 100%, the guides are saying, full-throated for that. Okay, so now we know what's going on over there. Let's take a look what's going on the other side of the fence. Well, the same money. It's so amazing, isn't it? That like the same bank accounts own everything. The same people, the same 7 people own all the media and all the money and all the corporations and all that. Kind of interesting, isn't it? So those same people decided that Biden-Harris was going to win, even with a Vance 45 ticket. They decided Biden-Harris was going to win. Number one. Number two, they cannot control Biden-Harris. Biden-Harris is like, we don't care. We don't want your money. We're not big, I mean, again, Biden rode the train to work. I mean, he doesn't have a huge multi-gazillion dollar bank account like some of the Dems do, like almost all of the Republicans do. He's old school. He's not bought and paid for. You can't buy Biden, and I don't think you can buy Harris. Therefore, they got to go because they're not working for us. So the fix is in. Once again, the guides are saying, in the sense that the money started making those phone calls to those other Democrat senators, House members, and saying, yeah, well, our bank account is about to be closed to you because we don't like what's going on. Number one. But number two, that in and of itself would have caused panic to those Democrats because it cost a lot of money to run. And then you hear that Musk is giving $45 million a month to the Republican presidential ticket. Meanwhile, the money's calling, these people and saying, we're taking your money away. Well, you can kind of see that they're between a rock and a hard place. Now, please don't hear me say that I like these people or respect these people. I don't. I'm just telling you the energy. You can decide if you disagree with me politely in the comments, or you can stop watching or whatever works for you. I'm just telling you the energy as I see it. So now you have, these people that we really respected, Adam Schiff and Sherrod Brown and Zoe Lofgren and whoever else. There's a bunch of them, right? We see these people wavering. Zoe even came out on TV and said we should do a mini primary, which frankly is as crazy as anything Trump has ever said. That is that crazy. We are never going to do a mini primary. That is never going to happen. But this is what this woman is saying. Okay. So they're saying it because their money has been yanked. They're worried about winning their races. They're worried about Biden-Harris losing because they believe the donors. The donors are saying, look at the numbers. They have more money than we do. We're going to lose. You need to get rid of this dead wood. You need to do it now. Okay, that was the first whisper campaign. Then we had bots, and this has been substantiated from Russia and other countries that have been sending out these social media posts. Second, part two of the whisper campaign was, Biden's considering dropping out. Biden needs to drop out. Biden's lost his support. His numbers are tanking. All this whisper campaign, it was all bots. And the media started personifying that. The media started pushing that narrative as well for a lot of reasons. I mean, we know the media is bought too. Okay. Now, the other thing I would say to you before I lose this, because I don't want to lose it, is the other thing that sucks about this situation, we have to vote for Schiff. We have to vote for these people. We have to. We can't give up those Senate seats. We have to vote for people that we think have been traitorous towards us because, well, if we don't vote for them, we lose the Senate. And if we lose the Senate, even if we do have Biden-Harris in the presidency in the White House, we got nothing. We got nothing. So we need to calm down and get our battle gear on and understand what's at stake here, which is elect these mofos. And then once they're elected, ride them like a jockey in the Kentucky Derby. Every day they wake up, they should get an email from you. Every little campaign stop, one of us should be in the crowd with a sign. But first, we need to get them in office. And then we need to hold their feet to the fire to make the right votes till they do what we tell them to do. Because here's the thing, we're going into the age of Aquarius, where power to the people, and there's more of us than there are of the donors. And once we start teaching them that we can run against them, we can primary them, we can recall them, they're going to start paying attention to us. But nobody's been doing this. We've been trusting that they had our back. Okay, they've had it on easy street. Now their own constituents are going to hold them accountable. But first, we have to get them in office. We have to. Hold your nose, close your eyes, hit the D button, and walk out. Okay, it's imperative. Absolutely, absolutely imperative. Now, I think some of these Democrats understand the game that is afoot. And because I don't think you're a politician for decades, and you don't understand the game. You don't understand that it is a system, a quid pro quo. Yes, I will. I'll vote for your bill, Mr. Lobbyist, Mrs. Lobbyist, but I need this from you. I need that campaign money. So, yeah, I think they know the game, but I don't think when I go into their energy, they don't think it's bad. I don't know. I swear what I'm getting right now is these moneyed interests have assured them. This is what I'm saying out of my mouth. I'm just telling you, I'm channeling. They have assured them that if they go along with it, the Dem combo that they choose to replace Biden-Harris will win. And, they can say that because they can then pour money on those races to make it happen. But I would tell you that the money that's orchestrating all of this, they just want somebody in the White House that isn't going to raise their taxes to 25 or 30%. That's a lot of money. And you're willing to do anything to preserve that money. So what they're trying to do is get president and a vice president and a president that they can control. What they care about is their money. And that's why I think they went to these Democrats and said, we can help you win, because they're not so into the Vance, the whole Project 2025 nightmare of social engineering, because that's going to wake up all the worker bees, and the worker bees are going to get mad, and then they're going to get in the street, and then they're going to stop working, and that affects their money. The best thing is to keep us all quiet, is to keep us working, is to keep us just gently oppressed so that we don't get any ideas. So we're so busy working, we don't get any ideas about why are we working? What are we working for? Why do we need this? We don't need this, right? So that's why I think they realize, number one, the Republicans are going to lose. Number two, the dynamic duo that's going to be in the White House, they're going to come for us. They're going to raise regulations, which is going to reduce our profit. They're going to raise our taxes, which is going to reduce our profit. They're going to enact workers' rights and get behind unions, which is going to reduce our profits. So they're like, this can't fly. We need to do a little character assassination thing here, a little psychological operation, a psyop on Biden and on Kamala Harris to get rid of them. And then we can install, and that is exactly the word they kept saying yesterday, they're installing people to run. Okay, so now I've told you the background story. I've told you why it's happening. Now let me tell you it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I've seen how this movie ends. I've always told you, I don't know how we're going to get there. And I swear I had no idea it was going to be this bad. And I think it's going to be, we're going to have moments of even worse things happen. That's just what I'm going to tell you. It is not going to be a time for the faint of heart. We are on the roller coaster. To get off the roller coaster, stop watching the news. If you can't handle this, there's no judgment. There's no shame in that. The thing is, to not get so depressed that you're completely out of the game entirely. Because if you're working in your community at the homeless center or the animal shelter or the food bank or the library, or you're simply working in your garden, sending out good positive vibes, or you're text banking, phone banking, door knocking, sending campaigns, sending in helpful emails that are supportive, all of those things count. They all count. So, first of all, I would tell you that I'm pretty sure Biden is going to step down. When does he step down? I don't know. I've always seen Kamala Harris being president without running for office. 4 years, been telling y'all. Now, what I see Biden doing, well, Biden is a Scorpio, and you don't get to be in political office for whatever 5 decades and not have seen some skullduggery. The man has seen the skullduggery. He saw this a mile away. He saw it coming. He saw he was being set up under incredible pressure because he understands that we need these Democrats to be voted in. And he sees that if these Democrats keep fighting him, nobody's going to win, right? Like they're going to lose, he's going to lose, everybody's going to lose. So he's trying to thread the needle. He's trying to use his unique position to say, okay, let's negotiate, right? I guarantee you, I promise you that Biden has called those people and said, I know who's backing you and I know where you're coming from. So let's not play. Let's just put it out on the table. Okay? Let's put it out on the table. So now we know what's going on. Let me just tell you something. I can stay in this office until they carry me out on a stretcher. I mean, Exhibit A, McConnell, right? I mean, literally, Biden's like, your boy, McConnell? I can pull a McConnell. I can stay in this office until forever. My people love me. You might lose your seat. I'm going to be here. So Biden is using his unique position to go back to these Democrats and say, I will work a deal with you, but the deal is going to be on my grounds. And my grounds is Kamala Harris is the president. There is no, there's not going to be any coronation. These are the words the Democrats are using. Coronation, mini voting process at are you crazy? Right? Are y'all crazy? No, honey, sit down. No, don't sit down because you just crapped your pants. Get up, go to the little boy's room, and the staff will give you some underwear that's clean. Come back when you cleaned yourself up because we're fixing to do it right now. We're fixing to do it right now. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Kamala Harris is president. Number one. Number two, we're going to pick the VP. You're not going to tell us who the VP is. We don't give a flying rat's ass what you say, okay? We don't care. Now, here is a little bit of a problem that I have where I have to maybe get a paper bag and like not hyperventilate because if you guys know me, you know that I have a trigger warning around a certain woman. And I'm not going to say her name because I have a thing about saying things out loud to the universe because the universe keeps score. And I really don't even want to have this said out of my mouth. But let's just say that Biden listens to some really wretched advice and has this moment of, we'll all hold hands while the flag is waving and sing kumbaya, and I'll be the great uniter that I always wanted to be. I'll unite the United States of America. I'll do it by asking LC to be the vice president. The woman who was on the Jan 6 committee, who was a Republican, I am not going to say her name in this context, refuse. Because I saw that also 4 years ago and I bemoaned it on a video. And I said, please, Lord God, don't let the Democrats try to heal the wounds of the country by bringing in a Republican with a Democrat. Because the problem is, there are so many problems, but the problem is that my spirit guides have always said from day one, LC is a formidable opponent. You know, they've never said that about anybody. They've never said that about DeSantis or Vance or even 45 himself. They've never said that to me about anybody but her. She's a formidable opponent. And every time I say her name, I hear the words formidable opponent, like call and response. Y'all, I can't tell you what I just had for breakfast, but if I say LC, I hear formidable opponent. Okay, I don't think this is going to bring the United States together because, well, her own party hates her, right? They don't like her. But the optics are great. The optics make it look like the coalition, in France, just recently they were under attack by the right wing, and the moderates and the left, I think, got together and said, I don't like you and I don't like you either, but let's jump in together because we've got to save the country from the worst possible thing that could happen to the country. Here we are in the United States. Exactly. The problem is we don't have four parties. We will in 2 to 4 years, we will have four parties because this is going to break apart the Democratic Party and this is going to break apart the Republican Party. We will have four parties and that'll make it easier to form coalitions. But right now, this is like there's a lot of daylight between LC and Kamala Harris. And also LC voted over 92% with 45. Okay? Like I had dinner with lunch with friends yesterday, and I mentioned this to them, and two of the four, me being one of the four, two said, that's a great idea. These are diehard Democrats. That's a great idea. They should pick her for VP. I literally spit my drink out all over the table. Why do Democrats like her? Please be aware. She voted over 92% with 45. 92%. She's not Mitt Romney. She's not one of those Republicans. I don't even know a Republican. Before the MAGA fever got a hold of them, maybe there was a John McCain. Maybe she's not a John McCain. She's damn near a Trump. So anyway, going forward, what I see is now I would say I'm going to leave that to the side so I don't have to get the paper bag out because I don't have one. I think if I use a plastic bag, I will die. I'm pretty sure that is the wrong thing to use when you're hyperventilating. So I'm going to put that to the side for a minute. I'm going to go back to VP Harris, President Harris, and I'm going to tell you that she was made for this job. When I first saw her for the first time, because she was a California politician, I didn't know anything about her, never even saw her, nothing, didn't know. The first time I saw her with Biden, when he was announcing it, the guides told me, president, she will be president, and she will be the law and order president. She will be fair. She may not be popular, but she will be fair. And they told me that there's going to be strife between the right and the left, or who knows, between two opposing, and I'm the word I'm getting is diametrically, and I want to say diabolically, but diametrically opposed, like literally black and white, two ends of the spectrum. Those two ends are going at it in our country, and she is the president, and she is saying, no, I am right down the middle. I'm not siding with this side. I'm not siding with that side. I'm in the middle. This is what, as I believe that Biden was destined to be president, Kamala is destined to be president. This foolishness that they're trying to pull is simply exposing them for being the big dollar sycophant lackeys that they are. And after we get the Congress and the executive branch and probably the Supreme Court, after we get those things sorted out, which we will begin to do in 2025, those people are really going to have to walk a fine line, because I know that the constituents of those people are liberal, and you guys will literally make them walk the line. Okay. And then as we go forward, what else do they want to say? Oh, they were going to talk about her VP. Well, so that's interesting. If it's not LC, and God help us, if it's LC, you guys need to send help. You just need to send a search party. You need to like find me. Somebody needs to get me. Somebody will have to come get me. I'm going to be okay. I can do it. I mean, I see it. Like I see it as a potential reality, and I'm still alive. So I'm pretty sure I can manage it. However, let's let it be a very small probability and not a large probability, because if I thought the payoff was big enough, if I thought it was going to really do something, I would say, yeah, and maybe I'll get convinced. The spirit guides are trying to convince me. I remain unconvinced. Okay. So if it's not her, and then, okay, so the other thing is, a long time ago, I mean, I don't know how long ago, but I was doing a video with Kevin's Loving Vibration, who's very good. And he said he saw Kamala Harris with Pete Buttigieg as VP. And at the time, I said, are you nutsos, man? The MAGAs will literally, blow up like the poof. You just see like clouds of air. There was another MAGA just disappeared. Like they couldn't handle it. They were like, poof, they blew their minds. Blew everything. And I remember telling Kevin, if that comes to light, I will fly to wherever you live and take you to dinner. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm looking at flights. Like I'm thinking, dang, I might have to budget this into my budget, because that man might be right. Because when I go into her energy, she likes him. It would be a kindred, a kinetic, I don't even know what the word is, but it would be a good mix. Now, I love Buttigieg. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't love Buttigieg. I love Buttigieg. Buttigieg for president in whatever year, 32, whatever it is, right? I'm good with that. I'm just trying to say, do we need another hurdle to jump? On one hand, LC would give us that, what you going to say now, Republicans? What you going to say now? I mean, on one hand, it would shut them up. Go ahead and try and attack this ticket, right? But if you bring in a VP Harris and a President Harris and a VP Buttigieg, well, then you've given the press all the money they could possibly get from the clicks and the trauma posting and the, just the BS posting, right? And the guides are showing me right now. I saw a little interview with him. It was a short or I saw a snippet of an interview where somebody asked him, and it was a casual interview meant to be like background, like about your family, your kids, whatever, your husband, like how are things going? And they point blank asked him, and I think this was a few months ago, so it was interesting. They point blank asked him, have he ever considered being president? And the look on his face said it all. The look on his face was no. And he said, I'm a dad. I'm raising young kids. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm making a difference. And I really don't think I need that in my life right now. I want to continue being a dad. I want to continue having a life. I mean, he was very earnest. So I don't even think he would accept it. So then the other thing is, the other person that I get is Josh Shapiro. I think that could be a really good winning ticket. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Just like Biden gets to decide, he gets to decide, am I going to just never step down and give these people the finger? Or am I going to step down? And when am I going to step down? And under what conditions am I going to step down? Because he understands stepping down is a power play, because now he can go to those Democrats and say, I'll give you what you want, but you give me what I want. He's not a victim. Biden is not a victim. No one is going to railroad him out of this job. No one. If he leaves, it'll be of his own reasoning, under his own steam and for his own reasons. And you better believe that those reasons are reasons that he's put America first. That's why he would step down. My guides say he will. I don't know. The guy has free will. We don't know. Everything is fluid. But there's a little thing brewing about, again, character assassination, about them making up something about Biden that seems very credible, that seems very, just very credible. They may produce a doctor, they may produce a document that seems so credible that Biden is on the defensive. And here's the thing, nothing Biden is going to do, he can never convince them. We are in a situation where we're working with a narcissist and they're gaslighting us. And no matter what we say to the media, they're never going to be convinced. Not ever. So, Biden doing all these, doing, I don't know, an interview a day or 5 interviews a day to try to prove to people that he's quick, sharp, that he's presidential, that he's a leader, that he's got it. It didn't matter. None of that mattered. They never gave him any credit. All they want to do is take him out. So once you realize that's the battlefield, what he will do is go to his people. And what he did last week, and I will either put a link here or I'll do something. What he did last week was masterful. He sent, now this is on video from his campaign chairwoman talking to one of the talking heads. One of the talking heads news shows. They went out and knocked on 100,000 doors. Think about that for a minute. How many is 100,000? It's more than my suburb population. And they did this throughout the United States. They sent either somehow proxies, crews, I don't know how they did it, but they sent people to 100,000 doors. I'm not talking about phone calls. I'm not talking about text. I'm talking about knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm doing a survey about President Biden. Would you support him? Now, she laid out that she was very earnest and open, which why we have an unequal playing field. Biden's open and earnest about his medical records. They're open and earnest about how they got these numbers, but yet we can't get jack nothing out of Trump. And yet the media thinks this is okay. Again, why are we shouting into the void? But I'm telling you because it matters to us. They went and interviewed or knocked on doors of people who voted for Biden. The point was, are you still riding with Biden? Number one. Number two, they picked out another subset of addresses that people that would be likely Biden voters. Okay? So they had 2 demographics targeted and they knocked on 100,000 doors last week. And something like 76 or 78% of them said they were riding with Biden. So they've lost 16%. That is not a big deal considering that the media has been doing a hit job on Biden Harris every single hour of every single day for months. But what that tells me is that Biden said, yeah, I get the phone calls from the Dems. Yeah, okay. And then he hung up the phone and he said, go ask my people. Go ask my people. I don't care about the money. I don't care about that Dem turncoat. Don't care. Ask my people. If my people say I need to step down, I'm going to step down. If you don't think that a president, that a campaign that can literally in a matter of days somehow organize 100,000 door knocks is a nimble leader that cares about the people, Trump can't be bothered to go meet the widow or visit the people in the hospital. But Biden is getting in the streets and saying, tell me what you think. What's going on? Right? So this is important. And it's going to help him make this decision. Now, the only thing that I see is that if they have this thing come out, that's what the spirit guides, the energy is calling a poison pill. some kind of thing that they manufacture that's not going to be true, but it doesn't matter. We already established that truth does not matter. We are in a dystopian nightmare. Truth does not matter. But it matters that it's sexy, that it's damaging, that it's gossipy, that people want to click on it, and then it starts changing the narratives. That will push Biden to decide to step down. Everything he does is for the American people. And everything he does is to keep us out of the jaws of 2025. So he's always making the call, right? If it's going to be better if I step down and Kamala Harris and whatever it is, Buttigieg or Shapiro or God forbid LC, whatever, think about, I'm going to tell you they're going to come after her too because they don't want her. She's not theirs. She's not their lackey. However, just the fact that happened and the fact that now we have a new running, ticket will get the Democrats a week's worth of positive PR and news. And then don't forget, I said when I was live with Afefe, with Touched by Tarot, I saw these ghost voters. They're not ghosts, they're alive, but they're unaccounted for. And they probably weren't, Biden probably didn't have them in his Rolodex as being voters because they're new voters, because they're intermittent voters, because they're they're the 22 to 32 that nobody seems to be caring about, because in the history, older voters vote. Older voters vote consistently. You can count on them to vote, and that's who they care about. But nobody's paying attention to this silent wave that's building, and it's going to vote for Biden or Harris, and they're going to vote for them in a wave. Maybe it's not a 20-point wave. Maybe it's a 3-point wave. Maybe it would have been a 20-point wave had voter suppression not happened and took out 18%, and it only became a 3-point wave. But it's a wave, and it's one that nobody's paying any attention to. And I said this, I'm not kidding you guys. These people are not motivated by Biden's age. They're not motivated by Kamala's race or heritage. They're motivated by 2025, the Project 2025. They're motivated by, they know that Grandpa isn't going to kill them. Grandpa don't want to kill them. The crazy grandpa, the crazy uncle, he wants to kill them. He wants to deport them. He wants to silence them. He wants to make life harder for them. He wants to take away their overtime pay. He wants to take away their mom's Social Security. They know this. They understand violence when they see it. These people that are 22 to 32 have been shot at. They've worked in retail. They've seen violence. They recognize a violent person when they see it. They're streetwise. They recognize 45 for who he is. And they recognize Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for who they are. And they understand which one is the one that's going to save them and which one is the one that isn't. So for all these reasons, we're going to come out of this battered and beaten, and I'm not kidding, but we're going to come out of it better for having gone through it, the spirit guides say, because we're going to be stronger, because we're going to know we're going to get rid of our confirmation bias. We're going to look into the Democrats like Menendez, who just got, rung up again. We're not going to put up with Democrats or Republicans or judges or anybody being controlled by money. We're not going to do that. We are leaving Capricorn and Pluto, and that's what that was all about. And the reason it's happening right now is because we left it, and now it's coming back just for the election, if you can believe that. For the next couple of months, we're back in that Capricorn energy of top down, of control from, the authority, control from up here. We're going to tell you who's going to run on the ticket. We're going to tell you what you're going to do. But that energy disappears for the next 30 years at the end of the year. And as we go into 2025, we start to begin the new energy of power to the people. Now, every energy has its pluses and minuses. There were good things that happened under Capricorn, but the bad things were 2008 financial crisis, right? There were bad things that happened too. So going into power of the people, it's going to be good and bad. It's not all one or the other. No planet, no sign, no person is all good or all bad. We're complicated. That's another one of our lessons here, is to understand that Adam Schiff could be a really good guy and he could do some really good things, and he's done some really good things, but he's made a mistake. We have to make room for people to make mistakes. If you have this black and white thinking, if you're inflexible in your thinking, it's going to be very hard on you to get through the next 6 months, because we're going to see things happen that nobody ever thought could happen. That is Uranus. It's another planet that's really active right now. So try to be more flexible. You know, saying I will never vote for Adam Schiff, even though I'm his constituent. No, never. I'm never going to do it. Never, 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 never. Okay, fine. Well, then you're going to wake up and be looking at a Republican governing you? Is that what you want? You might have to hold your nose, vote that man in, and then ride him like a jockey on a horse at the Kentucky Derby and say, you made a mistake, sir, and you're going to have to work your way back into our good wishes, back into respectability. We need to know we can trust you. So that's how we do it. We cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater. If Biden steps down, we can't throw Kamala out. That's that rigid thinking. My way or the highway. Well, honey, when you say that to the universe, you're going to hit the highway for real. They're going to put you on the highway. So try to be flexible. Try to be open-minded. And it goes again with treating us. If I'm telling you something you don't want to hear, try to be flexible instead of yelling at us and telling us we're liars or telling us this person said this, so you're lying. I mean, that's so disrespectful. Please don't be disrespectful. Please don't be a Schiff. Okay? If you're mad at me or you're mad at one of my peers, take a break. Unsubscribe. That's all you need to do. You don't need to yell at us. You don't need to be personal and attack us. Okay? I'm going to leave this here. I don't have a timing on this. Right now, I feel like Biden is in negotiation mode. He also doesn't feel well because he's got the C, and it's in his chest, and he's just kind of miserable, and he's deflated. And so, if you want to do something nice, send him some more emails. Isn't it interesting that the spirit guides asked us to send supportive emails around July 4th? Isn't it interesting? It's almost like they knew this was going to happen and that Biden would need our support. So continue supporting him. Continue sending him postcards, get well wishes. We got your back. And also send cards to Kamala, because she is feeling like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want to be a part of this coup. I don't want to take over this. I love Joe Biden. I respect Joe Biden. I want to be there for Joe Biden. And yet people are putting me in an awkward position. And she's in an awkward position too. So send her some love. Send them both your love, your prayers, your energy, but also send them an email. I support you. Whatever decision you make, I support you. I want you to know that you've done more for me than any other president. Give him something that Jill can read to him. Look at all this support you have, Joe. Let me read you some of these emails. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm going to let it go. Thank you for watching to the end. Again, it's going to be okay. Your crowd here, your team of psychics and tarot readers will be here for you if you're kind to them. Otherwise, you might be on your own. But we're going to get through this. Take really, really good care of yourselves, number one. And we'll see how it's chess. Everybody's getting to make their move. Biden's going to make a move. The establishment Dems are going to make a move. Everybody's going to have their moves. We just have to see what free will does. But the end result is they're not going to get rid of Kamala Harris. I will leave a door open. I'll leave a door open that the convention, the Democratic convention, if you go back and watch my video with Lorraine Gibbs, the astrologer, the Democratic convention this year is the same energy astrologically as the Democratic convention in 1968. Can you make this stuff up? In 1968, Johnson stepped down and it was a free-for-all at the Democratic convention where they had a primary in the convention and they voted in two dudes that lost to Nixon. Do you see how the energy is repeating itself right now? That's what Zoe Lofgren wants us to do. Go to the convention and let the people decide. No, the people already decided, heifer. I already decided. We already decided. Some of us took time off from work, got babysitters to go vote. We decided, right? But it's the energy. So the energy around the convention could be a shite show. So even though I hope this works itself out before then, the energy suggests that there's a possibility that something could go sideways at the Democratic convention. It also predicted something was going to go sideways at the Republican convention, but they kind of covered it up. I believe there was a coup, a bloodless coup is what the spirit guides are saying, but they packaged it up and made it look nice. The Democrats don't tend to do that. We tend to like air our dirty laundry in public, as you can see. So we'll see what's going to happen with that, okay? So I can't promise anything because it's a game of chess and people have free will. All right? Take really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again really soon. For entertainment purposes only.